Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to the Bhakti Secret episode number 21. After 4 rahasyams on various events and personalities from our great epic Ramayana, Tirukkolur Pen Pillai has focused this rahasya on an Alvar. Just to recap, Alvars were great saints engaged in the bhakti of Lord Vishnu, and Tirukkolur Pen Pillai did speak about a lot of Alvars in her rahasyams from maybe verse number 10 till verse number 15. As she has a habit of switching between topics after Ramayana, now she has come back to Alvar. Now, this particular Alvar is very special to Tirukkolur Pen Pillai because he was born in the same divine village of Tirukkolur where this Pen Pillai was also born, and she is currently exiting from that village where she happens to meet Swami Ramanuja. So, Tirukkolur Pen Pillai's rahasya to Swami Ramanuja in the current episode is, did I say that I don't need a deity for worship like Madura Kavi Alvar? So this is the Alvar we are going to talk about today, Madura Kavi Alvar. He was born in Tirukkolur and he was a disciple of another Alvar called Swami Nammalvar. Now again to recap, in episode number 14, Tirukkolur Pen Pillai discussed about Swami Nammalvar. So, what we had discussed then was Swami Nammalvar was a yogi right from his birth. From his birth till he attained 16 years, he was in a meditative state, sitting under a tamarind tree. His attention was unparalleled and it was distracted when Madura Kavi Alvar came into the scenario. So this rahasya has a link to episode number 14 about Swami Nammalvar. So Madura Kavi Alvar, he was in his religious tours and he happened to visit Ayodhya. As most of us know, Ayodhya is in the northern part of India, and since his birthplace was Tirukkolur and the Vishnu of Tirukkolur was his chosen deity, so wherever he used to go on religious tours, he always had a practice of looking towards the south direction and bowing down in respect for his Lord Vishnu. So in Ayodhya, he continued the same practice of looking south and bowing down in that direction just before he used to sleep in the night. At that point, he saw some ray of light coming from the southern skies. Now he thought it would be some kind of a stray forest fire and he chose to ignore it. But this phenomenon happened for 3 to 4 consecutive nights. That's when he thought that this is not an ordinary ray of light or a stray forest fire. So he chose to explore what this ray of light was. So since the light was coming from the southern direction, he started traveling south. So he walked various cities, yet he could see the ray of light still coming from the southern skies. So then he realized that this was not a normal phenomenon, it was something divine. So he wanted to put an end to that mystery. So he traveled, he kept on walking, he kept on traveling till he reached a place deep down south in Tamil Nadu called Alvar Tirunagari. Now I just checked the distance between Ayodhya and Alvar Tirunagari. It's around 2500 kilometers. Wow. So the Alvar would have walked down the entire stretch, and when he reached this place Alvar Tirunagari, he could no longer see the light coming from the southern sky. So he thought that this was the source place from which the light emanated. So he inquired some locals about the speciality of this place. Was there some divine thing? Was there something rare which was happening? And the locals seemed to be a bit puzzled by this question because they were staying in that place for long. So they just casually told him that there is nothing special except for the fact that there is a boy, 16-year-old. He is sitting under a tamarind tree and he is in a meditative state for the last 16 years. Now, apart from that, we don't have any special in this place. Now, Madhurakavi Alvar, being a great saint, filled with devotion, he knew that this was his searching point. So he goes to that tamarind tree and he indeed sees a 16-year-old boy in a meditative state. Now he has his own doubts. What is so special about this boy? Can this boy even hear? So to test that out, he takes a big boulder lying near the tree and just drops it near the place where this 16-year-old boy was meditating. Immediately, the boy opens his eyes. This boy was none other than Swami Nammalvar, whom we discussed in 14th episode. So Nammalvar never opened his eyes even for his parents. Yet, he was just waiting for the right moment to open his eyes and give his darshan or vision to Madhurakavi Alvar. Now Madhurakavi Alvar was stunned by his powerful eyes. Obviously, those eyes right from the birth haven't seen anything except being engaged in transcendental meditation. So we can not imagine the power which would have come from the eyes when Nammalvar just opened it on hearing the boulder sound. So he immediately realizes, Madhurakavi Alvar realizes that this person is something special, someone divine. So let us test his knowledge. He has opened his eyes. Now can he hear? So to test that, he asks a complex philosophical question which goes like this. He asks, if the imperishable soul is trapped in a perishable body, what does that imperishable soul experience? Now, this seems to be a simple question when I phrase it, but it has a very deeper meaning, a very deeper connect, and it links back to the human existence. Now, Nammalvar was no ordinary person to misinterpret this question. So he opens his mouth for the first time after his birth in 16 years and answers the question. He says, if the imperishable soul is trapped in a perishable body, the imperishable soul would experience the joys and the sorrows through the body, but it would be blissfully unaware of anything higher, anything supreme. So it seems like, it rings true in case of our experiences as well. at a material level, we continue to experience joys and sorrows through this body, but there is an imperishable soul which is residing, which is sitting inside this perishable body, which many of us are blissfully unaware of, even as a concept, or we may be aware of it as a concept, but realization that we are the souls and not this body is very difficult. Now, when Nammalvar spoke these words, Madhurakavī Alvar could sense that devotion, that wisdom in the answer he gave, and immediately he bowed down to Swami Nammalvar and accepted him as his spiritual guru. Now, Madhurakavī Alvar was an aged person and Nammalvar was a person who just attained 16 years of age. Yet, Madhurakavī Alvar accepted a 16-year-old boy as his spiritual guru because he was impressed by his intelligence, his vast knowledge and devotion. That's when Swami Nammalvar starts communicating regularly, frequently. He announces or declares to Madhurakavī Alvar that one of the purpose of Nammalvar's existence is he came to this world to translate the Vedas, which were in Sanskrit, into Tamil language, and Madhurakavī Alvar would have to play a great role to help Nammalvar succeed in his mission. And that resulted in the composition of Tamil poems called Divya Prabandhams, which are 4,000 in number. So it's popularly known as Nalayira Divya Prabandham. Nal Ayram is 4,000 Divya Prabandhams, and those are a translation of the Sanskrit Vedas into Tamil language, which was led by Swami Nammalvar and assisted by Shri Madhurakavī Alvar. Now, Madhurakavī Alvar considered Nammalvar as his spiritual guru, but he didn't just stop there. He took a step further, and it was his realization that Guru is someone who is truly supreme, who is even a step greater than God. Guru is a person who is compassionate, who listens to you. Maybe we just pray unilaterally to God, that's what we feel, and God is not answering back. But for Madhurakavī Alvar, Nammalvar was the divine in a moving form. So he regarded his guru as supreme, and he felt that he did not need any deity for worship. If he worshipped his guru, that was ultimate for him, that was supreme for him. So such was his guru bhakti that it is itself a different path for people to follow. It's called Madhurakavī Nishtha, where there are people who regard the guru, their spiritual masters, as supreme, and they pray to their guru. So that's one of the paths of among the multiple paths we have in our Sanatana Dharma. So this was the trait which Tirukkolur Pen Pillai was comparing herself with. So she felt that Madhurakavī Alvar had such a deep, burning devotion to his guru, and in spite of being born in the same place where this great Alvar had taken birth, I am not so much devoted to my guru. What is the purpose of my existence? So, O Swami Ramanuja, what difference does it make for a person who is not devoted to her or his guru to stay in Tirukkolur or to leave Tirukkolur? So please don't stop me. So this was her rahasya, and this describes the glories of Madhurakavi Alvar and in turn Madhurakavi Alvar's glorification of his spiritual guru. So this episode highlights the importance and impact a spiritual guru can play in one's life. So that's all from Bhakti Secret episode number 21. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti episode. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.